So before we talk dim sum, I just wanted to thank Brookside for sponsoring today's video, which is a chocolate I've personally been eating for years now. I'm the type of guy that just needs some chocolate after every meal. I need that little bit of sweet, and Brookside really hits the spot for me. And what they do is they take dark chocolate and they combine it with unique flavors like pomegranate and acai and blueberry. Flavor combinations that are surprisingly delicious together that you wouldn't think of. And my favorite way to eat these are definitely to pop them in the freezer. I think it really enhances the texture personally. So for today's video, I thought we would explore other unique flavor combinations, and there's no better place to do that than Chinatown. So I'm gonna head out to Chinatown to try some dim sum and get inspired, and then come back to the studio and try to create some unique flavors of dim sum. Every single borough in New York has its own unique Chinatown. Today I'm in Sunset Park, which is the Chinatown in Brooklyn, because it's closest to my studio and it happens to be awesome as well. I'm gonna be meeting up with my intern Alex, who actually lives in Sunset Park, so she has a much better grasp on where to go, the best restaurants to hit. So we're gonna explore Brooklyn Chinatown today and hopefully get some tasty goodies. How long have you lived here?
I lived here since I was like a little kid, and I moved back and forth.
Okay, so you come to Chinatown a lot?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're pretty familiar with the spots.
Yeah.
So if we're looking for, you know, delicious, surprising treats that are filled with yummy things, where do we go?
You can go to any bakery, you can go to the Feilong Market, you can literally go in between streets and look for like little holes in the walls. I guarantee you, if you like open a door, it's a restaurant.
I already saw one.
Did you?
I saw steamed buns right when I got off the subway, and I was like, I'll wait for a second. So basically, I guess that's the plan. You have a few places in mind, and then we'll just explore?
Yep.
Okay. So we've come to a little park and we're gonna sample our steamed buns. Let's see what's in here. Magical surprise. Wow. This place was really awesome. They were nice enough to let us come in and film in there, watch the technique, and they were filling it up with, it's kind of like a ground pork.
Yeah.
Yeah, not much else other than like a sauce. So pretty simple. Grab one. We also got this big one. Not to mention they gave us everything for free, which was really nice. Let's see what's in here. Okay, this is the same thing.
Just gigantic.
Just gigantic. Oh, you know what? I see where the sweetness is coming from. We've got a lot of just like caramelized onions in there, which is really nice. You see that?
Yeah.
It's like a meatball in there. It's really good. The buns are incredible.
Yeah, they're like super fluffy, a little bit sweet.
Because I was looking it up, and it's pretty much like a milk bread. You know, a little bit of sugar, a little bit of milk.
It's steamed, not baked.
Yep. That's really nice. Okay, so that was a good base. Feeling pretty inspired, but we want to try some desserts as well. So we'll just hit a bakery, I guess.
Yeah.
This green one's calling to me, but this one looks like a rice one. And then what'd you say this was?
Peanuts on the inside, coconuts on the outside.
Oh. Okay, we'll get one of these and one of these.
This is fresh tofu.
Okay. You said you know this lady.
My mom knows her. I don't know.
You don't know. This could be great, I'm thinking, for a filling, potentially. We'll see. We've got a bounty here. We did well. All different types of textures and flavors. This one has peanuts in here. This is something you get a lot. Oh, that's so good. Oh my God. That's incredible because it's coconut, and then you get the chewiness from the rice, and then the crunchy from the peanut. Salty, sweet. That is a perfect dessert right there. And this one has taro in it?
Yes, this one has.
So this is just like a bun with taro.
I like this one.
At first I was throwing it all out because all of these are chewy. So now we go to a baked bun and it's such a different texture, but I really like it. It's growing on me.
Good.
Yeah.
The taro's like the sweetest part of it, but it's not.
The flavor is
that sweet.
incredible.
Yeah, and it's just like taro. It's so good.
Yeah, I'm feeling inspired. I think we got a lot of yummy samples, really unique flavors. A lot of unique flavors, surprising. So we're gonna head back to the studio. No, first we're gonna go shopping, and then we're gonna head back to the studio and make our own surprisingly delicious snacks. Since Alex and I sampled so much dim sum, there was no way I was making just one version at home. I at least needed one savory and one sweet. But what I'm gonna do is make one dough recipe and use it for both the sweet and the savory, and one will be steamed and one will be baked. So for the dough recipe, it's pretty simple. All you gotta do is start off with blooming some yeast. So I just take 1 tablespoon of yeast, just 1 packet of instant yeast, and pour in about 30 grams or a 1/4 cup of warm water. To that I added just a little bit of honey, about 1 teaspoon of honey to activate the yeast, and let that sit for about 15 minutes until it's fully activated. In the meantime, you can start up with your other dough ingredients. I'm using a mixer here, but you can do this by hand. And I add 400 grams of flour and then 40 grams of sugar, since this is a sweet dough, and then just a little bit of salt, around 10 grams of salt. And then the main wet ingredient to this is milk, which is traditional in steamed buns, and it just gives it a nice flavor and a nice texture. So I'm gonna add 200 grams of milk and then about 1 tablespoon of cooking oil, and just give that a mix for about 2 minutes until it really comes together and it starts to get smooth. Then you can remove that on a floured surface and start kneading that together until it is just a beautiful, smooth dough. Once your dough is fully kneaded, you have to let it rise and proof and double in size. You can throw it in the fridge if you're doing it at night and just let it sit in the fridge for a longer proof, or just let it sit at room temperature for around 1 to 2 hours until it really has expanded. And this is a great time to work on your fillings. So we're gonna do 1 sweet and 1 savory. For the savory, I'm doing something similar to what I tasted in the steamed bun shop, but I'm switching up the main ingredient and adding a few more additional elements. So first I'm gonna dice up some onions, and I'm also going to dice up some shiitake mushrooms. And then to a hot pan, get some oil in there and throw in a few diced red chilies, some minced garlic, and some ginger, and just infuse that flavor right into the oil. Right here, such a foundation to Chinese cooking. If you wanna make something that tastes Chinese, start with frying off some garlic, some ginger, and some chili, and you're well on your way. Add some scallions too. It's smelling like Chinese cooking in here. Next, you're gonna add your diced onion and your shiitake mushrooms and just let that caramelize on a medium heat for around 5 to 7 minutes until it is softened. And when those veggies are looking beautiful, you can deglaze the pan. I'm using some Chinese cooking wine that I got in Chinatown, but you can use some white wine and you can use some rice vinegar. So instead of using ground pork, which you see in a lot of dim sum and a lot of steamed bun recipes, I'm gonna use some ground lamb because I really like the flavor of lamb, and it still has some really nice fat content, which is integral for a steamed bun, but you can use any type of ground meat that you prefer. And all you have to do is take that veggie mixture and add it to the ground lamb. And then we're just gonna hit it with a few more ingredients. We've got some black vinegar, we've got a little bit of soy sauce, a little bit of sesame oil, and then I chopped up some fresh basil and I threw that into the mixture and gave it a mix, and then put that in the fridge to cool. All right, moving on to the sweet filling. So I was really inspired by a lot of the different desserts, and when we were walking through Chinatown, we actually found this stand that was selling fresh tofu, and I knew instantly that that tofu was going in the dessert because it's hard to find really good tofu, and I like incorporating tofu into different desserts. But the question is, what are we gonna add to that tofu? And I found my answer when I saw some beautiful purple yams in Chinatown. So all I'm gonna do to these purple yams is just throw them in a 400-degree degree oven for 1 hour until they are perfectly roasted. You just have that tender meat on the inside, and you can peel that away so you just have the meat and not the skin. And then we're gonna pat down that tofu so it's nice and dry, throw it in a food processor, and then add that purple yam meat and just a little bit of coconut sugar. You can use some regular sugar just to sweeten it up, but I like it when it's not too sweet. It still has a little bit of savoriness. And then you can package that up and throw that in the fridge, and then we're ready to roll out our steamed buns. So of course the cooks in the shop have been rolling steamed buns for years and make it look very easy. And it's not that easy, but there are some simple techniques so you can do this at home. So the first step is portioning out your dough. So when your dough is proofed, you're gonna take it out and just roll it into a log and then chop it up into pieces. I like weighing out those pieces individually so all of your steamed buns come out equally. And I'm just weighing them out at about 50 to 55 grams each so you get a nice medium-sized steamed bun. And then you're gonna roll the dough into little balls. And I like just pushing it through so you get some tension on the dough and just keep kind of pushing it up from the inside until you get a ball, and then you can give it a roll on the table to smooth out the seam on the bottom. So for the sweet buns, I'm gonna bake them in the oven. So I just put them on little parchment pieces and let them proof for another 45 minutes until they've doubled in size. And then I mixed up some egg and some milk to paint on the buns to give them a nice crust, and then sprinkled on some sesame seeds, threw them in an oven at 380 degrees for about 14 to 15 minutes until they were nice and golden brown. While those are cooling, I'm gonna roll out the steamed buns, and there's a really simple technique where you take the dough, just give it a few pats, and then just use your roller to go around the side while turning the dough. Just keep doing that. And it's gonna be a little thinner on the outside and thicker on the inside using this technique. And that's actually good because when we go to crimp the steamed buns together, we're pulling it up so it starts to even out the dough. So you want it a little thicker on the inside. Once you have your round, I like just putting a little water on the outside so it sticks together when you crimp it, and then just scoop a ball of meat right on the inside and start crimping. And you know, it doesn't have to be perfect, but you're just kind of crimping it together while twirling it so you get that nice swirled crimp edge to your steamed bun. And just keep practicing. I swear you'll continue to get better. I got better from just one round of rolling these steamed buns.
Oh my goodness, look at the fluffiness.
Those came out great. I'm just gonna create a really quick dipping sauce so I can enjoy these to the fullest. Ooh, oiled those so they came off real nicely. There you go. Wow. Oh my God. The lamb is nice and fatty, so you get a little bit of juice. It's flavored perfectly. Love the shiitake mushrooms in there. That competes with any steamed bun. So this one I'm very interested in. Alex and I tried a ton of just crazy flavors of desserts yesterday in Chinatown. The desserts, you can really go with the surprising flavor combinations. Here we go. So I tasted the filling and it was delicious, but something about putting it in this bun elevates it. It's really subtle, it's not too strong, but that you could sell that in the stores right there. I need another bite though.
This is Mr. Wong. He helped me build a lot of this place, and he's been bugging me to make him some Chinese food.
This is Chinese food?
This is Chinese food. You open.
I open, see.
Oh.
Beautiful. This
Hold
is
on.
Chinese. This is Dongbu.
Lamb.
Yeah, lamb.
Yeah.
Chinese Dongbu. No, the lamb
No.
inside this Dongbu.
Oh, the mushroom?
Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta dip, yeah?
The soup,
Yeah.
too hot maybe.
What's too hot? Oh, that. Good? Yeah?
Yeah. Good.
Leo, you want to try one? Oh, you can't. You're kosher. You're kosher.
Good.
Good?
Yeah.
Better than the stores?
I see you put more better than ARV.
Better than 8th Avenue. That's where I went. I went yesterday and I sampled some.
Yeah, I ate good.
There you go. We've got a baked sweet bun and a savory steamed bun. And I was really impressed by how these came out. Just the uniqueness of the flavor combinations and the fluffiness. I really do wish I made like 100 of these things and just froze them. Now I'm gonna have to, I'm gonna have to do this again this weekend just to have extras because they were so fantastic. Thanks again to Brookside for sponsoring this video, and make sure you follow me at Life by Mike G for more crazy food experiments on Instagram, and I will see you in the next video. On the next video, I'll see you next time.